Paul McCartney cried for a year after tragic death of wife Linda. Almost embarrassing. Paul McCartney cried for a year after the tragic death of his first wife Linda McCartney from breast cancer, the musician admitted in a throwback interview. Last night at 7:55 p.m., Paul McCartney at the BBC was broadcast on BBC Two. The show featured a compilation of performances from the musician's post-Beatles career and featured hit songs, Band on the Run, Jet, Coming Up, and Live and Let Die. The program also revealed never-before-seen backstage footage of the former Beatles bassist, and included interviews from the likes of comedy legend Bob Mortimer. The program featured footage of Paul's show at the venue from 2018, where he played a number of Beatles classics as well as songs from his solo album, Egypt Station. The Cavern Club is a legendary Liverpool venue that the Beatles played at over 300 times between 1961 and 1963. Paul's life has been in the spotlight since the Fab Four became one of the most famous bands in the world in the 60s. His relationship with American photographer Linda, whom he married at the height of his success in March 1969, also frequently made the front pages. However, Linda was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1995 and died of the disease 3 years later. In the wake of Linda's devastating death, Paul revealed that he spent a year crying. Speaking to BBC Radio Scotland in 2019 to promote an exhibition of photographs taken by Linda, Paul said, "I think I cried for about a year on and off. You expect to see them walk in, this person you love, because you are so used to them. I cried a lot. It was almost embarrassing, except it seemed the only thing to do." The former Beatle also compared his response to grief to his father. Paul noted that, upon his mother's death in 1956, also from breast cancer, "We had no idea what my mum had died of because no one talked about it." The songwriter, who was just 14 at the time, added, "The worst thing about that was everyone was very stoic. Everyone kept a stiff upper lip and then, one evening, you'd hear my dad crying in the next room. It was tragic because we'd never heard him cry." It was a quiet, private kind of grief. Paul had a happy marriage with Linda, with the couple living on and off at a Scottish farm retreat with their 4 children, away from the stresses of pop stardom. In an interview with The Guardian, Paul said, "One of the things about Linda, when you talk about how people seem at ease in her photos, is that it was her lifestyle. We'd say, let's go out of London, so I'd just drive. I'd say, where do you want to go? She'd say, just anywhere. After a while, you'd end up in areas you didn't know, going, oh, I'm getting a bit lost here, and she'd say, great. You were in places you'd never been, you were seeing things you hadn't intended to see, all of which was rich stuff for her photography." Paul added, "I always used to joke that I ruined Linda's career. She became known as Paul's wife, instead of the focus being on her photography.